What a stunning outfit this is though. J40 pedal car in the back of the A40 pickup. It's back. Absolutely stunning car.
She's an ex-police car.
Is it? Stunning flat six powerhouse in this 911. Today on CarTraction, a car that has not appeared on my classic car YouTube channel for a while. This is the mighty and very, very dinky 1954 Renault 4CV, and today we're going to be getting it going and taking it to our local, what is really a staple of the CarTraction YouTube channel, the Cars and Caffeine at Combermere breakfast car meeting. So we're just going to do the usual prep on this, connected the battery, and then just prime up the fuel on the interestingly water-cooled rear-mounted four-cylinder engine. So that's done now, so we should be ready to go for a start. It's actually been so long since we've taken this to an old car event. Now March is that sort of interesting time of year where a lot of people store their classics in garages and protect them from winter salt and stuff, but by March I think it's sort of when things start to wake up again. And we had this running yesterday, so it's not exactly like a cold winter start, but I think hopefully at today's breakfast car meeting there'll be a lot of things that are either new to the meeting or that we haven't seen in a while. So, I mean, this hasn't been seen in a while there as well, so let's see if we can get it going. No keys with this one. Ignition on, neutral, and then we just twist this.
Plenty of choke.
Bit of throttle. Right, so switch to the outdoor camera now, and the Renault actually fired up relatively well, so I'm looking forward to going with Dad in that one to today's breakfast classic car meeting. That always gets a lot of attention, and it actually seems to be running relatively well, just from up there to parked up here where it's warming up. Should mention also Mum is coming along. She'll be driving the Mazda MX5 Mark 1.
Yes.
Look at that. Porsche 935 Turbo flat nose. Absolutely stunning car. Dad's filming something. What is it? It is a Type 1 VW camper. The first of many, many classics that will be turning up today. Beautiful condition on Porsche wheels. There's plenty turning up now. 2.8 Capri, so 2.8 litre SX V6, and a very, very loud TVR Tuscan in the cool colour flip paint. That's a really nice looking car, that. There's the Capri, also equally shiny. What an incredible paint job that is. The TVR Speed 6 engine rumbling away there. Wow, look at that. That's an Austin A40 pickup. What a rarity, wow. That's beautiful. With an Austin J40 pedal car in the back, wow. That's really, really nice. I think the owner of that actually owns also, I think, the Austin K8 coach that we saw recently in a video at the Midway truck stop. So I think I was told about that, but that's really cool. Austin A40 pickup with the J40 pedal car in the back.
How cool is that?
It's good livery, isn't it?
Yeah. The guy who owns that has got the
It's the K8, isn't it?
Coach
yeah.
At the Midway.
Love that. Now that's a serious little car. A Mini, which is extremely tuned with a Honda VTEC engine. Absolutely rapid. Parking up to the much more original Mini. And here is this absolutely stunning Austin A40 Devon pickup. I'll have a proper look around it later, but it's great to see that out today. Wow, well, what a pair of cars have just turned up. Series 1 Jaguar E-Type, and look at that, a Countach. That's not what I was expecting to see at just some random classic car meets. Stunning Series 1 Jaguar E-Type, but look at that. Was not expecting to see this here today. Mid-engined V12, Bertone designed. Very, very distinctive Lamborghini supercar. There's the Series 1 E-Type, that's a stunning car. I told you, it's March, it'll be a good turnout. Look at that though, wow. Sounds epic as well. Still rolling in more arrivals, this one the MGTF. They're all flooding in now. Really, really sleek. 993 generation Porsche 911 Carrera. Now here's something else. That is, I think it's a Lotus Evora, that one in a beautiful shade of green. Is it an Evora? I think it is, or an Evora GT maybe. Beautiful colour. Yeah, suddenly so many gorgeous sports cars and supercars turning up. I can hear something pretty raucous arriving from up the road. Oh, look at that. Going past. Really serious Caterham. Right, well, have a look at this pair. The absolutely stunning Lamborghini Countach 5000. Such an iconic car.
On, but not on the...
Wow. Mid-mounted, naturally aspirated V12 engine. Let's get a close look at this one. Nice, some precise parking for a Countach. I think the owner's letting people have a little sit inside. It is not an easy car to get in and out of. What a sort of perfectly 1980s car that is though. Wow, the wheels as well, absolutely mint.
Stupid courses. It wasn't a clear where to go on or anything. I don't think it's everywhere, to be honest. But just go along normally, it doesn't get off. No. Anyway.
That's another lovely car I haven't seen in a while. Series 1 semi-lightweight Jaguar E-Type. So much turning up today.
All right.
Next to roll in is the Sunbeam Talbot Lotus. Wow, really rare car, especially in that condition. Absolutely mint, but yeah, very successful rallying car this one, and very much in road trim. Yeah, Lotus tuned Sunbeam Talbot. Another recognisable car rolling in, the Vauxhall Victor FB. I think we're going to have a very, very packed turnout today. Let's have a little look at what's arrived on this row. Just beyond the modern era Kia Stinger, we find a proper classic British sports car. This is the semi-lightweight Series 1 Jaguar E-Type. Now, if memory recalls, this was initially a US market car, and it was bought by, I think, a French owner who turned it from a conventional Series 1 E-Type into this absolute beauty. Debumpered and wide arches and all sorts to give it the look of the lightweight, the Jaguar E-Type lightweight racing cars, as you can see, left-hand drive. It's also been converted to a 5-speed manual gearbox. This one, it would have been a 4-speed originally, on some absolutely just incredible timing clocks. Those are just gorgeous, aren't they? Hopefully you can get a little look at those. The riveting, so cool on this car. Quick release filler cap, sounds awesome as well. It's really such a cool build, this car, and I think it was sort of changed and modified to this configuration in period in the sort of maybe early 1970s, I don't know, but it's just such a great looking car. Really wide arches, as I said, wide tyres, wide wheels. Such a cool thing to drive, I'm sure. Running probably a 4.2, it maybe originally would have been a 3.8 or a 4.2 litre Jaguar XK straight 6 engine. One interesting thing I haven't noticed is the louvers are mismatched on either side. These are probably the original louvers, and these ones are a lot more louvery, if that's an adjective, but the carburetors, triple SU carburetors of the XK engine are on this side. That's the intake side of the engine. Exhaust, I imagine, is on that side, so you probably want to have a little bit more cool air coming through to get to the SU carb, so that's why that's probably been modified, but it's just so cool. Absolutely love that, and Dad is waving at me because, oh wow, look at that, a Mark II Jaguar. That's a lovely little car. Not, why did I say little? That's not little at all. So that's another XK engined car, straight 6-cylinder engine. Same engine as in the E-Type actually, but not as high tuned. That's really nice. Let's get a little look at that past this glorious semi-lightweight E-Type. Well, there's so much turning up today. It's going to be an amazing meet and probably a long video. So there's that stunning Mark II Jaguar. That is a 3.8, so the largest iteration of the XK straight 6 in that particular car. The Lotus, beautiful early Porsche 911T, not for turbo, that's a naturally aspirated car. 2.4 litre flat 6-cylinder engine. This is a Porsche Boxster Spider, I think that one is. Stuff is absolutely pouring in now. Lotus Exige, I think that one is. Followed up by another Porsche, a GT4 Cayman. Wow, it's going to be a big turnout today. You can tell that already. It's a Porsche 911 and a TVR Combermere in a lovely shade of green. Really pops under the sunlight, doesn't it? So much turning up today. Next in is another real rarity, a Ferrari 456 GT. Extremely rare front engine V12 Ferrari, Pininfarina design, but you really don't see that era of Ferrari anymore. Really rare car. And a 996 Porsche 911 Carrera 4, so the all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive car there. A couple of Nissan GTRs. The latest generation and a much older generation there. That's the R34 generation there. And also rolling in, a little Alpine, cool little modern car. Followed up by a TVR Tasman. If that's the car I'm thinking of, that car wakes me up every morning, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be woken up by that driving past at 6:30 in the morning on the work run. It is one of those, I don't know whether it's that one. TVR Griffith with dog in the passenger seat, but yeah, my wake up alarm at the moment is a TVR Tamora that always drops probably 2 gears as it goes past our house on the road, which I'm absolutely thrilled to say because it sounds awesome. But that might be that car, or it might be a different one. Well, that one certainly sounds just as nice. There's the TVR Griffith with the dog in the passenger seat. It's going to be a big turnout today. A Ferrari California there waiting to pull in. I can hear something coming from down the road. What is it? Another Oh, two, wow. R34. Oh, there's quite a few of these actually. These are very, very rare and desirable cars now. Nissan Skyline GTRs. Look at that, little 1100 or 1300 as well. Little 8016 car. Kindly letting in the crazy horsepower Nissan GTRs. Now, these are 34 GTRs, have what's called the RB26 6-cylinder engine, and they are unbelievably tunable. It's not uncommon. Oh, there's Grandad in the MGB. Good to see him out. And there's the little 8016 car. That's great, but yeah, that's quite an interesting focus. But these GTRs, well over 1,000 horsepower you can get out of those engines. It's insane. So they're actually pretty special to see, despite being relatively modern. There's the later generation of Nissan GTR and stunning Porsche 911. That's just the business, isn't it? Mid-1970s, air-cooled, naturally aspirated 911. Just perfect. Absolutely unbelievable turnout. And actually, this meeting officially starts at 9:30, and it's only just clicked over to 9:30 now. So this... what is going on? Wow. I remember April last year, there was an unbelievable turnout, and we're thinking we're having a repeat of that. Stunning Porsche 911T. Wow. Lotus Eclat. That is a Ferrari, I think a 296 GTB. And there's just an absolute queue of cars rolling into today's breakfast car meeting. Just sometimes this meet you get an absolutely crazy turnout. There's a Porsche Boxster. That's a really clean looking car actually, isn't it? But yeah, sometimes this meet just does extraordinarily well. Rolling in a Triumph TR4. That's a lovely car with the hard top, but look at that. Lovely Porsche 911 Targa. Stunning wide wheels. That's a really smart classic British sports car in the form of the Triumph TR4 with the hard top. Dad is also doing a video of today's turnout. E30 BMW M3 is that one? Maybe, or a 6-cylinder car, I'm not sure. Another Mini is rolling in now with something else behind, but I can't quite tell what it is yet.
Beautiful classic Mini there,
British Leyland era Mini, Mark III Mini. That sounds really healthy actually. Oh, I've seen that car before. It's a Mini Cooper S, and it is the cleanest Mini you will see today. Hopefully you can hear that, but that is one sweet sounding A-Series engine. And yeah, look at this pair. So you've got a Rover P6, 3500S, so a super rare manual P6 car going into the classic car section, and a Ford Escort van Mark II, really, really rare. And another Porsche 911 rolling in. So let's have a little look at the stunning Austin A40 Devon pickup. Based, actually not really a Devon actually, is it? So it's based on the Austin A40 Devon, which was a Austin saloon car of the late 40s, early 50s. And that's what this pedal car is based on. This stunning Austin J40 is the car that was sold alongside our Austin Pathfinder. These ones far more well known, but yeah, that's based on the Austin A40 Devon Saloon, which has the same front as the A40 pickup. But this is a glorious, glorious livery, really nice period sign writing. There's a crazy Ariel Atom is arriving over there, which is done up as the racing division for these J40 pedal cars. Sorry, there's a lot of 40s and A's and J's being flown around while I'm looking at this one, but beautifully restored. Quite late era actually, Austin A40 pickup. I have to keep thinking A40 because it says J40 all over it. And that's of course the pedal car's name. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous vintage pickup. Probably early to mid 1950s in there, probably 1954, something like our Renault 4CV, that dates from the same year. Little Mini here. This one quite an original little car. And this one certainly not original. This is known as the VTEC Mini, and the old BMC A series is long gone in this one. As you can see, a fully custom front end to accommodate the absolutely massive in a car like this Honda VTEC engine, the variable valve timing of course. That's what they're known for. Why they're so high revving and powerful, extremely tunable engine. Really nice little stopwatch actually mounted on the steering wheel. That's a nice period accessory. But yeah, there'd be quite a bit of pipe work to get that to fit in there. But stunning, stunning build, and that thing is absolutely rapid. Let's see what else we can find at today's absolutely unbelievable turnout already at Combermere Cars and Caffeine. Got the Porsche 914, that's owned by the same owner of the 930 slant nose. A couple of motorbikes here. We don't discriminate here, so a couple of two-wheeled items also turning up. Over there is the Mark II Ford Escort van. Really amazing condition, really. And this is a stunning car as well. Then Aston Martin DB7. I think these have some perhaps Jaguar XJS DNA in them. I think a V12 offered mostly as automatic or paddle shift. This one automatic, but stunning looking car. Fantastic shape. I really love the DB7, and this has to be the colour that I'd have it in. Just look at that. Slight metallic, pearlescent, you could say, green. Of course, featured in the Bond film. Was it Die Another Day that this was in? I don't know, but just glorious, glorious. Sort of classic era, but more modern take on it. GT, classic British sports car in the sort of, these are sort of 1990s and era, but just a stunning looking car. And here is Mum in the Mark I Mazda MX5, the California edition, one of only 300 of those. Here we are in probably more than fewer 300 of these still on British roads. The Renault 4CV with leaflets, and I should mention actually, one of Dad's recent birthday presents was this little model, which is the closest thing we can find to this very car. It's got the wrong wheels, but apart from that, that's a pretty much exact replica of our 1954 Renault 4CV, known also as the Renault 750 in the UK, but this is a UK built car, it's right-hand drive, but these were sold quite popularly in France. Just next to us is, it's good to see this car actually, the first time I've seen it this year. This is the very early Mark I console Cortina, so it's a Ford Cortina, Lotus Cortina, but it actually counts as a console Cortina as it's that early, with the, I think it's A-frame or something, rear suspension. So not just a Lotus Cortina Mark I, but a console Cortina, much earlier date of car. Stunning engine bay, isn't it really? This is cars, I think a few times over a concours winner. The glorious Weber carburetors providing the intake system for that engine. Exhaust on the other side, so cross-flow actually in this engine, but absolutely fantastic looking. Really successful race car in its day. They're still very successful in historic racing car events. That's just such a really nice and just absolutely mint, isn't it? Mark I Lotus console Cortina Ford, Lotus Evora. This is the sort of supercar and classic section here. Very smart looking Porsche Cayman, Audi R8 V10 Cabriolet. They're absolutely wonderful. I think I declared it a 935 earlier, but that was the racing variant. This is a 930 SE turbocharged. It's effectively a 911, but it's obviously like all re-engineered and known as the slant front. These are speedo in kilometers, of course, a German car, left-hand drive. I do like these little Porsche sort of like leather stitching around the door mirrors. That's pretty cool touch, but the slant nose much more racy in its design. Some of these 935 racing cars are making upwards of 750 brake horsepower back in the 1970s and 80s, and they had this front on them, which is really cool. That is a stunning car. Porsche Cayman GTS next to, I think, another Porsche Cayman. Ford Capri, a 2.8 litre injected car. Now, interestingly, this area didn't actually used to be paved. It's been recently resurfaced, which has added probably another, I don't know, 15 cars to the capacity of today's car meeting. So that's a good move by I think the owners of Combermere in general, and the Old Piggery Cafe at Combermere, which is of course the location for today's meeting. And look at that, the wonderful Vauxhall Victor FB. I think it's got over 200,000 miles on that car. Totally original, unmolested condition. I think the owner has a bit of a penchant, you could say, for Vauxhall cars. Very lovely indeed. TVR Chimera, we'll have a little look around here now. Fantastic shade of green on this car, really shines under the sunlight. Porsche Cayman GT4, perhaps an RS, I think that one the fastest out of the lot. That's got a flat 6-cylinder engine, as most of the Porsches here today will have. TVR Tuscan, goes without saying, I'm sure you heard this car earlier, absolute straight through exhaust. Stunning sound from the TVR Speed 6, it's called the inline 6-cylinder engine in these. This is a rarity, isn't it? A Jensen Interceptor SP. Really wild looking cars these. I think the husband drives this and the wife is in the MGB GT. Grandad should be in his MGB GT, but there's so much here I haven't had the chance to see him. So this is a British designed and built car, but with an American heart. Is it a Chrysler or a Chevy? I can't remember. No, I can't remember, sorry, Chrysler or Chevy, I'm not sure, but an American huge V8 motor. Many louvers on the bonnet, fantastic looking car that. Next to a much smaller version of a classic British GT / sports car in the MGB GT. That's a really, really presentable little car once again. We continue along the almost endless turnout of cars here. Lotus Esprit, I think that's the Turbo SE, that car. Pop-up headlights. I love the look of this mid to early 1970s Porsche 911T. As I said, an early car denoting the T, 2.4 litre naturally aspirated flat 6 in these, so quite a small capacity engine when you compare it to other 911s. Stunning interior, just absolutely stunning. On the Porsches, the Fuch, I think they're called, or something, alloy rims. Just a stunning, stunning car with probably one of the smallest capacity flat sixes you'll find in a Porsche. This is the Porsche Boxster Spider. Is it the RS? I'm not exactly sure, but it's got some cool Spider decals on it. But this, I think, is like a 3.8 or 4 litre flat six, so almost double the size of the old 1970s car. I do like the gold wheels on that one. Gold wheels again on the Lotus Exige, the Exige S perhaps. Mid-mounted V6 engine in these. First V6 of the day, I think. Really cool looking little cars these actually. They're a modern sports car that isn't huge, which is always good. 6-speed manual gearbox, perfect driving experience. And there's the top of the engine, just the air cleaner I think we can see there. Fantastic, fantastic turnout of cars at today's Cars and Caffeine at Combermere. I'll take a stroll along the middle row now. The Ferrari California. That's quite a usable sort of, is it 15 years old roughly, probably, Ferrari GT car. This 911 is absolutely glorious. Another 911T, this one I think, so probably another 2.4 litre actually, flat 6-cylinder engine. Interestingly, this one is a right-hand drive car, so perhaps an original UK market 911T. Super original looking car actually. Really, really nice. And then probably an original sort of bright red colour, really, really lovely. Fiat Abarth Roadster, I think that one is, or a Fiat Spider, actually it's called, isn't it? Yeah, Fiat Spider. Next to that, really lovely. Really, actually, one thing I do notice is it's got the original lovely wheels, but actually the tyres almost look like they're at least a replica of the original tyres. The tread on those just looks so period correct, actually, on that lovely mid-1970s era Porsche 911. That's another just stunning car. Trap TR4 here. This is a classic British roadster / sports car, but it's currently in a hardtop iteration, so that is a removable hardtop. I'm sure that will be coming off soon. An E30 generation BMW here. Now I think this is probably a 6-cylinder powered car. The M3, interestingly for these, was a 4-cylinder, and the 325, which was a non-M car, actually was a 6-cylinder, so quite interesting. So quite an unusual actually fact that. This, look at this. This is absolutely mint, isn't it? So this is no Sunbeam toll, but this is of course the Lotus tuned car, so almost like a rally homologation car. And look at that engine. Looks to be a single cam 4-cylinder engine, but it's got a great pair of probably Weber or something similar to the Weber designed carburetors with a really cool all-in-one block air filter. Just look around the bonnet though. This car has been incredibly well restored. It's amazing to see these and the sort of Ford Escorts of the era, but this is much rarer, restored to such a high standard. Although actually I think it is a twin cam 4-cylinder, but it's just a sort of mounted at an angle. I can see another cam cover there, so it's mounted at quite an unusual angle. The twin cam 4-cylinder, it's kind of like that in this car. That's a real rarity to see one of those in that good condition though. Lotus Evora GT in that lovely shade of green, as I said earlier. 993 generation Porsche here. Last of the air-cooled and proper, in my opinion, Porsche 911s. Here's a little MGTF, which is not the sort of thing you'd be expecting to see next to a Lamborghini Countach, but that's the many delights of cars and coffee events in the UK. I absolutely recommend these car events. They're my favourite places to film. Great community involved. There's a Facebook group called Cars and Caffeine at Combermere, really active Facebook group. lots of photos of cars, and I'm sure after today there'll be so many posts of people taking all their photos of, probably many photos of this car, the stunning Lamborghini Countach, next to the MGTF. Note the interestingly shaped dials there, that emanates the MG logo, as you can see on the motor litre steering wheel there. So that's a nice little period sort of racing style mod, the motor litre. The white interior in the Countach is incredible. And let's nip back to this row here. So there's the E30 BMW. In front of it is probably the best ever Mark III Mini Cooper S I've ever seen. This thing just sounds so sweet. Once again, interestingly, the tyre tread pattern looks like an original tyre on this one. Clearly, it's got to be a restored car, hasn't it, to be in this good condition, but it's nice to see it restored to such faithful original condition. And it sounds fantastic, this little car. We followed it into the Cooper S twin fuel tanks. We followed it into the Sweatenham Arms evening classic car meeting, which is another fantastic event, and it really flew, this thing. It was so quick. Being a Cooper S, the highest tune available from the BMC factory of the BMC A series engine, but that's so many amazing cars. I bet this is another one that's just come out of hibernation and it is now starting to attend the classic car show scene in 2025. That is so nice though. And next to this is another real rarity, a Rover P6, but this is a 3.5 litre car, so a Rover 3.5 litre V8, and the S on the side of it denotes a manual gearbox, which is even rarer on a car like this. Quite a contrast to the comfy old Rover P6 with the manual gearbox here. It's probably the only similarity having a manual gearbox, isn't it? This is the Ariel Atom, although it might be a pedal shift actually, I don't know, but Ariel Atom, absolute weapon for the road, unbelievable car. Here's the Mark II Escort van, another Porsche Boxster Spider RS. That's quite a high-spec car, that one is. And this is a car I hadn't seen turning up before. This is an Alfa Romeo 1750, this one, so the 105 series Alfa Romeo in the glorious sort of custard colour, isn't it? But Tony designed, I want to say, one of my favourite saloons of this period, or coupe actually. Lovely steel wheels, really original car actually, this one. But these can be enhanced by a lot of the sort of, the guys at Alphaholics. They do a lot of work with these classic Alfa Romeos and they can look really stunning, but even in original form that looks absolutely gorgeous. Next to the incredible Lamborghini Countach is this number. This is a Series 1 Jaguar E-Type Roadster. I'm sure plenty more has actually arrived while I've been doing my little walk around, so there's still going to be so much to see. This actually looks like a really well used car actually. It's got this sort of slightly almost dusty look to it, which I actually love because it shows this car is used. This one almost doesn't look like it's been cosseted away in a temperature controlled garage during winter, and I like that. It's good to see something like that being used. That's a stunning car, once again with a probably triple SU carburettor, Jaguar XK straight 6 up front. This is the Type 1 VW camper we saw coming in earlier, very low, and the Droop Snoot, another real rarity, the Droop Snoot Vauxhall Forenza Coupe. Just in front of the Porsche 914 we find this little Austin Healey Sprite. I think this is another car that's just been reawakened from its winter storage. Really absolutely fantastic little sports cars these. Once again another BMC A series powered car. I love the little white tubing on the tyres of this one as well. Real period accessory. I guess you could say a high spec car for its day. 4-speed manual, and the running gear in these means that they're really tunable little cars actually, but they're also really usable, which is great to see. You see plenty of these out at any classic car event you go to, and they're just great little cars, aren't they? Quite affordable at the moment as well. Yeah, just really nice little classic sports car there. This is a Ford Mondeo Estate. I think this is quite a rare car with maybe a V6 engine or something quite burbly inside. An Aston Martin, I think that's a DB9 Cabriolet, so a V12 up front in that car. Naturally aspirated, fantastic sounding engine. MGTF, and this is an interesting one, another X308 generation Jag. So we've of course got the 3.2 litre V8 Sport at home. That's not come out today, but yeah, it's great to see this, and this is actually the full-blown XJR, so something like, I think it's like 390 brake horsepower, something silly in these, and they're absolutely fantastic. 4 litre V8 up front, supercharged, really usable car, matched up to an automatic gearbox and an absolute rocket. Dad used to have one of these and it was insanely quick, and I think they're a really good looking car as well, this generation of XJ. Land Rover Defender here, real variety, a cool paint job on this particular F-Type. What's coming in now? I think that's a McLaren of some sort. That'll probably go into the supercar section. And there's a GTR just behind. I think there are a lot of GTRs back here. Little Caterham 7 here. This is quite a high tune car. So this is a Superlight R300. Now, R300 probably means 300 brake horsepower per ton, because if this engine is 300 brake horsepower, it's stupid quick. And if it's 300 brake horsepower per ton, it's probably like 220 brake, and it's still pretty wild, because Caterhams recently have just got silly quick. They're absolutely insane. See one of these going around the track, just unbelievably quick. Real hoot to drive, I'm sure, and that is a real weapon actually. It might look like a dated old sports car to some who don't know what they're looking at, but actually that would pretty much gap a lot of the cars here by a long way. And acceleration, bright yellow AMG A45 hatchback, BMW M4. Let's get a look at this. This is a really nice. Why do I keep saying little with this car? Pretty big for its day, I imagine. The Jaguar Mark II. So this has got a 3.8 litre Jaguar XK straight 6 engine, and that little gear stick there is quite important, because that means this is a super rare manual car. So a 3.8 litre manual car with the overdrive option on the gearbox, which is like an extra gear, drops the revs down on long motorway runs at high speed. But that is a really usable classic car. Really, really lovely thing actually. Very nicely presentable and usable Mark II Jaguar. I do like that. This is a Ferrari 456 GT automatic V12. Quite an unusual car. I don't think it was a particularly popular car in its time or now, but real rarity. Porsche 996 and a much later and newer Porsche 911. Today's turnout really does just keep on going. There's actually an overflow section down there. We've even got that far, so I'll have a look at those in a bit. I'm going to have to speed this up because this video is going to be long. Bright blue, great, isn't it? 996 generation Porsche 911, much later 911 there. BMW Z4, Fiat Punto here, nice colour at least. And sorry, that was a bit mean. There's a Nissan R35 GTR and an Alpine A110. Modern take on the classic early 1970s rally / sports car. And this is the TVR Tamora, so I think this also runs the same TVR Speed 6 engine that the Tuscan used that we saw earlier, the extremely loud Tuscan. 5-speed manual gearbox. TVRs have always been about driving sort of experience. Yeah, it is a Speed 6 engine in this one. They've always been about driving experience. You've got to have a manual gearbox. You've got to be sat right over the rear axle. It's a modern era take on classic British sports car. It's got all the right DNA, 6 cylinders, as I said, manual. And yeah, as I said, one of these goes past on a daily commute past my house, and he always makes, there's a little sort of straight after our house on the road, and he always drops 1 or 2 gears and absolutely floors it, and it's the best way to wake up in the morning. I'd recommend that way over any alarm clock. Getting woken up by a Tamora is just absolutely epic. Great sounding cars, these. There's a Golf GTI. I think we'll swap rows now to have a little look at the amazing contingent of Nissan GTRs. So these are the sort of what is a very popular era of car, the 1990s JDM tuner cars. That's an R34. These are all the R34 generation of Nissan GTRs. These are all incredibly popular and desirable at the moment. And these are real weapons. This one's got quite a bit of carbon fibre on it by the looks of it. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of these is running over 1,000 horsepower easily. They're insane, these sometimes. Little look along this road, the Lotus Eclat, the Ferrari, I think that's a 296 GTB. Once again, gold wheels, looking very, very tasty indeed. And another selection of Porsche convertibles. Look at that stunning Ford Zephyr rolling in. That's gorgeous. Wow, another car I haven't seen before. That's really lovely. Down here, the TVR Griffith, little 8016 number. This is either a Morris 1100 or Morris 1300. Really rare little car, common in its day, but now not. Another BMC A-Series powered car. Here is Grandad in the MGB GT, the larger B series in these, of course. Good to see that one out and about. There's an unusual Honda, what is it? A Honda Mugen or something, Type R, another VTEC powered car. Great looking Mini Cooper S here, the John Cooper Works wheels and lights and all sorts going on with that one. White wheels, very bright with the Pirelli tyre writing on this Jaguar F-Type. I want to have a look past all these lovely cars in their own right, but I want to have a look at that absolutely wonderful Ford Zephyr that's just rolled up. It's a Ford CO that's rolled up here as well, that's quite a rarity. What else is there? Another E30 BMW. That's a wonderful looking car as well. Probably another 325i, that one. Lovely, lovely looking car. Another Boxster. There's so much to see down here. Another GTR, Lexus, F-Type SVR, Jaguar XKR, that one maybe, an XK8, 4.2 litre V8 convertible. Now this car probably isn't one of the most eye-catching cars that we see here today, but it actually has a V10 engine. This is an M5 Touring, this BMW, so a 5 litre V10. There's 10 cylinders in this car, and real sleeper, really, you know, well sort of, what's the word, it's sort of almost coveted, this car. It really doesn't look that incredible when you compare it to all these, but with those wide rims and a V10 engine, that would be spectacular to drive. And let's get a little look at this fantastic Ford Zephyr. So being a Zephyr, this is a 6-cylinder powered car, and this isn't a car I've seen before. Yeah, single carburetor, nice original looking car, beautifully restored by the looks of it. That's absolutely stunning, stunning looking Ford Zephyr. Nice to see the original style number plates. Is this your Zephyr? It is. How long have you had this one then?
I haven't long had it. I got her October last year.
Right.
And bought her in Stoke-on-Trent.
Right. Gentleman. So has it been restored at some point? It looks pretty mint.
She's unwelded. Totally unwelded. She did go a little restoration. I think it was back in 2016. She had a slight restoration done on her.
Gorgeous car.
Thank you very much. Apparently, she's an ex-police car.
Is it?
Ex-police car.
Wow.
Lancashire Police, apparently, 1959 to 62.
Wow. That's wonderful.
So I found a few little odds and ends on her that aren't standard.
Right. What sort of odds and ends are those?
She's got an amateur and oil gauge, pressure gauge on the dashboard, which wasn't standard on them. There was a radio bracket in the glove compartment, and she's also got holes in the rear parcel shelf where they used to put the police sign.
Ah, I see.
So yeah, and a gentleman phoned me and he said, can I have the engine number and the chassis number along with the reg number, and he said it's come back as Lancashire Police.
Wow. It's got a bit of a history, this old Ford Zephyr.
Yeah, she's work in progress though at the moment.
That's great to see that out today. Lovely 6-cylinder engine. Let's get a look at the interior of this one. I love this car. Fantastic looking car. The British emanating the American style of the 50s and 60s. Just absolutely wonderful. Curved glass, chrome all round. Really beautiful looking car. There's a new arrival just next to the contingent of Nissan GTRs, and it is this very, very sharp Triumph Triumph TR6, not the GT6, I almost said that. But yeah, Triumph TR6 here, 2.5 litre straight 6-cylinder engine. Triumph TR3 I think is off on its way to the overflow parking area. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable turnout today. Let's have a little look around this area then. First up, I remember this car. This is a Robin Hood kit car, and I had a ride in it a couple of months ago at the Hopley House Breakfast Classic Car event, and it's got a tuned Ford Pinto engine up front. Sounds fantastic, and it's mega quick, this car. Looks can be deceiving, I know to some people it just looks like the Caterham almost. It's nowhere near as quick as the Caterham, but To some, this may just look like a dated old sports car, but this is actually absolutely rapid. TR3 is manoeuvring over there. That's another beautifully restored car. Let's have a little look along this row now. Toyota Supra, quite an early rare car there. So many Porsches. This probably makes up half of the meeting today, these Porsches. I do love the wide rims on this particular Targa. Great looking wheels. Another Cayman or Boxster there, and a little MGB Roadster. Very distinctive seats in these. First thing that catches one's eye. They're great, aren't they? Let's have a little look down this section past the glorious Aston Martin DB7, and here we find Norman and Edith apparently in their Citroen 2CV6. The fully retractable roofs on these. Very long production period, these cars. I think they were developed in the late 1940s and made up until the late 1980s. Another Honda, not another actually, this is the first one we've seen, Honda NSX. These are meant to be a really good driving car actually. And another Porsche 996 generation 911 here. Plenty of these here today, one of the most affordable, I guess, generations of the Porsche 911. And just behind here we find the often overlooked old petrol pump that lies here. I think it's a Beck meter, isn't it? Yeah, lovely vintage petrol pump that fortunately hardly anyone sees, but we've got plenty of photos of our cars parked up here next to this lovely vintage petrol pump. Oh yes, it's back. That is the Morgan three-wheeler with the Jap engine, and the owner of that car actually has two of those. He races one and he uses one as a road car. That, I think that might be the racing one out of the two. Hand throttle, really unusual car. I suppose it doesn't exactly matter. Kill the engine, you can just push it back. I'm not even sure if something like that has a reverse gear, to be honest. But, you know, a huge motorcycle-derived V-twin engine. It's just great, that. Twin Amal carbs, one carburettor per cylinder, and these... It's good to see this one out again. So is this the racing one, or the, right? So this is the racing one. Right. Yeah. Oh, is it the Gold Cup this year? Is it going to be?
The Gold Cup in 24.
Right. Okay.
It's been broken since then until this morning.
Ah. Yeah, it's a pretty mad turnout. I think everything is sort of winter awakening. It's good weather, and I think a lot of things are coming out for the first time. So is the non-racing one also in usable condition, or is it not?
It's broken.
Oh no! What's wrong with the non-racing one?
I was in Portugal last year at an event. Battery got low, and it,
Right.
as I was starting it, the battery didn't have enough oomph, and the engine stopped and the flywheel shifted. So I
Right.
just took the engine and realigned.
I see.
And put it back together.
That's a bit annoying just from a dud battery.
1929. Some bits.
I'm sure this thing is such a hoot. Just overheard 1929, such a hoot with that huge V-twin motorbike engine on the front of such a light car. And a real challenge to drive as well. Hand throttle, single rear wheel obviously.
Very, very clever guy.
It's just crazy how much you made it, isn't it?
The Jaguar XJR is off. That would be a real sleeper, real weapon, that mega quick car. Interestingly, on import shaped plates, so maybe like a Japanese import or something. These weren't made as late as 2004. The next generation, the next generation came before. I think it was 2003, the first year of the one after this. So this is 2 years too young, really, unless it's been imported, as I say, which it's probably most likely how it is. I bet it's, oh, there you go. Dealer sticker, Jaguar Japan. So this is an originally Japanese. Oh, look at that, the MG V8's back. That's a lovely pre-war car. It's good to see. That's probably the first time that one's been out this year as well. The MG V8 4-seat Tourer. That's a gorgeous car. Really usable as well. It gets plenty of miles out of that one. But yeah, Jaguar Japan on the rear window. So that's originally a Japanese market Jaguar XJR that has since been imported from Japan to a UK market, which is really, really unusual history, you could say. And yeah, that's an unusual car. I was just making sure it wasn't a manual actually, in case it was something weird, but no, it's got the usual automatic gearbox, because if that was a manual that would be an unbelievable car, but still with an automatic gearbox, which is probably more suitable for a car like this. Absolute weapon with a very interesting history as well. So that one's off relatively early. Sure, we'll get a little clip of that one leaving. We'll get a few clips of the older cars leaving today's meeting. Off it goes. One of the many Porsche Caymans is off now. Oh, sorry, Porsche Boxster S, that one. Now let's say there it is. So let's go and find this wonderful MG V8. Now the V8 was quite a large car for its time, actually, the mid to late 1930s. It's one of the larger cars made by MG in its time. You can see the rear hinge doors, but this is a stunning pre-war era car. I'm pretty sure it's a V8 being the larger one, but just the design on it, I don't even have to point it out, because it just looks absolutely gorgeous, doesn't it? Really usable pre-war tourer. The Mark II Ford Escort van is next to depart. It's been an amazing meet today. I'm sure there'll still be things arriving. He's leaving quite early, you could say, but I'm sure there'll be plenty more to see from today's Cars and Caffeine at Combermere. Incredible turnout at the March 2025 meet. The bonnet is up on the glorious MG V8, but I think first up, let's get a little shot of that glorious interior. Really lovely original clocks in this particular pre-war tourer. Let's have a little look at what I presume will be a 4-cylinder powerhouse. Yes, it is actually a surprisingly short unit actually for such a big car. Twin SU carburetors feeding that 4-cylinder engine. You can see there's actually a lot of space before the engine compartment actually starts. This car was probably made also to accommodate a 6-cylinder engine as well, so a 4-cylinder almost looks a little bit lost in the engine bay, but it's an absolutely gorgeous little car, really. It is absolutely wonderful.
So says that probably will hit. Needs to reckon that was going to be a payment of about £4,000.
The white pair of GTs are off now. First up is the Jensen Interceptor SP 6-pack. I think that refers to the carburettor. Maybe like 6 intake jets or something, I'm not sure, to be honest. That does sound pretty special. And just behind it, the MGB GT. Sounds really sweet, that car does. Stunning flat 6 powerhouse in this 911. Toyota Land Cruiser's just turned up. I think the old FJ40 that one is. Real rarity. Unfortunately, there are a lot of car enthusiasts in the way of the shot. I think an MGA Roadster just pulled up. There you go. Quite an early car on steel wheels.
So that's sort of like a mid-production, isn't it? That's beautiful. That's my favourite.
Ferrari California is off, followed by the 2.8 litre Capri.
TR4's off. Really good looking car. There's the MGA. Another new arrival is this very sleek Triumph TR6 in blue on some really perhaps wider than usual wire wheels, or perhaps it's spaced out a little bit more than standard. Lovely original interior, look at those seats, wow. Yeah, really nice original interior in this particular car. Single exhaust, interestingly, perhaps a slightly louder unit than usual. 2.5 litre straight six in these, I'm sure it would sound pretty tasty. As a very, very late arrival in the form of that Ferrari 458 has just turned up. The whole point of cars is to drive them, so I thought I'd take to the exit of today's breakfast car meeting to record a few of the sights and sounds of the classic cars and sports cars on their way. Healthy sounding MGA. Wow, look at that Fiat Dino. That's lovely. What a late arrival. Absolutely gorgeous. And a pre-war Bentley. Not expecting to see this pair turning up. Some lovely, lovely old cars. 1970s and 1930s. Wow, look at that. Great pairing. The DB7's off. Yeah, wow, we got to get a look at this pair as the Fiat Spider is off. And staying with the Fiat theme, look at that glorious Fiat Dino. I absolutely love the look of these. These were sold as the convertible, and these, the Fiat Dino Coupe, K-Reg about 71 or 72. Gorgeous V6 car. The TR6 is also off. That's a lovely, lovely car. Look at this, lovely pre-war Bentley as well, probably a 4.5 litre or something similar. It's certainly an unusual pair to turn up this late. Two wonderful looking cars though. Very, very nice. The lovely semi-lightweight E-Type is off. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like it's running the best. I think it just wants a bit of use, to be honest. So, not all 6 cylinders may be singing in unity there, but Lovely, lovely car nonetheless. This Alfa Giulia is such a gorgeous little car. It's a cool looking motorbike in front of the lovely Mark III Mini. An old Triumph that one is. Sounding very nice, but look at that Mini. Sounds gorgeous. Now let's get a closer look at this pair, because I don't think I actually looked at them for long enough, starting off with the glorious Fiat Dino V6 engine in these, which was probably a similar unit as to the Dino Ferrari car really, but this time in a coupe body built by Fiat. I think these are such a fantastic looking car. 2.4 litre V6 engine up front. There's another 6-cylinder engine, but quite different in this one. So I think this is most likely a 4 litre, or probably more likely a 4.5 litre Bentley. Modern timing gear inside would suggest that this is used for a variety of maybe regularity rallies and classic car road runs. Look at that. That's called a Brooklyn silencer, that exhaust, and that is one of the best looking exhausts I've seen in a long time. Although it'd still be relatively vocal. The huge 6-cylinder in this car, 1930s era Bentley, as the Rover P6 departs. Great sounding V8. What a car this is. Great to see some of the pre-war sports cars and racing cars these were back in their day out and about at today's Cars and Caffeine at Combermere. Incredible turnout at March's meeting. The immaculate Ford Zephyr is off now. Wonderful car. 456 GT in front. Just looks lovely from every angle, that car, doesn't it? 6-cylinder engine, sit happily at probably 65 miles per hour. Just such a usable old saloon, and it just looks wonderful. So everyone, as you can see, there is barely anything left from March 2025. It's absolutely unbelievable turnout at the Combermere Cars and Caffeine. Fantastic event. I would absolutely recommend to anyone. There's such a wild variety of classic cars, sports cars, supercars and much, much more. So do come along. Make sure to subscribe for more future classic car related content and check out the channel homepage for over 200 videos, including past videos of this event. My battery light is flashing now, so thanks for watching and goodbye.